Good news for motorists. Yet another big fuel price decrease is on the cards in the new year. Layton from the Automobile Association of South Africa joins us now on the line from Midrand here in Gauteng. Layton, thank you so much for joining us. I believe we can't get too excited yet because there's certain things that need to go right and that our exchange rate might put a spanner in the works before we can celebrate too quickly.
Certainly, and I think when we look at the picture at the beginning of December, the outlook was even a bigger decrease than what we are predicting now, but we've seen a very steady decline in that decrease over the last few weeks. International petroleum prices have really gone down quite significantly, and this is contributing around 95% to the decrease we are predicting. However, if the Rand-US dollar exchange rate does turn, as the indications are at the moment, I mean, it was at one stage quite strong against the US dollar, the Rand. If that trend continues, then unfortunately this decrease will not be as significant as what we are predicting at the moment.
We're told that we need to keep an eye also on political and economic stability. Now, last year, this time, South Africa was keeping a very close eye on the happenings at the ANC elections. This year, it's a little bit more stable, some would say. What do we need to see happen for everything to remain stable and for that impact then to be felt on the fuel price as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think when we look at, local political developments, I think we're looking at a stable, a stable economy. We're looking at policy certainty. I think we're looking at a relatively quiet period in terms of politics, which is going to ease some pressure on the Rand. But the pressure we're seeing coming from the US dollar on the Rand is really due to geopolitical developments. We know that there's issues with, for instance, the US and China, and that's having some bearing on the strength of the greenback. So I think, just in the short term, it's really more to do with dollar strength than it is with Rand weakness.
Now, we saw a fuel decrease happen earlier this month that people were very, very happy about. My question is always that whenever the fuel price goes up, things like grocery prices go up as well, transport prices go up as well. Are we seeing the savings on these decreases being passed on to ordinary South Africans and consumers?
No, I don't think that we are, and I think that when we look at the increases that happen, they're incremental over a period of time, and obviously they filter into the economy over a period of weeks and months. I think if there are to be any decreases that are significant, they would need to follow a similar trend, and we're not seeing that that's happening. In terms of the fuel price, we know that it is very volatile. It goes up and down every month, sometimes by quite big margins, which is exactly what we've seen in 2018. So I think any decreases to the fuel price are not necessarily at this stage filtering back into the economy in terms of cheaper transport costs and or cheaper food prices and commodities.
Now, ENCA today has got its reporters fanned across the country looking at traffic volumes picking up for the holiday season coming up, people making their way either to go home or to go to different holiday destinations. Are the AA seeing that there's a decrease in this kind of travel happening because of all the increase in fuel that we've seen in this past year?
It's very difficult to say. I think anecdotally there may be some evidence to suggest that that is happening, but we don't have any scientific proof to back that up. I think what we'll have to do is see what the results are at the end of December or at the end of the festive season, kind of middle of January, and kind of reflect on what hotel occupancy rates were and what spending patterns in various of the hotspot areas were, KwaZulu-Natal, the Western Cape, Eastern Cape, and see whether it has had an impact. I think, like I said, anecdotally there may be some evidence to suggest that people are not going on holiday, or not as many people are going on holiday, although when you have a look at traffic volumes that are steadily picking up, it would suggest that people are still going on holiday. Maybe some of them are going for shorter periods, but I think it would need to have some more scientific kind of backing in terms of the real figures at the end of the festive period.
Just before I let you go, Layton, the Automobile Association obviously also sending out a message and a call to South African motorists to be on their best behaviour into this very busy season.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we'd like to see is that people are obeying the rules of the road. They're taking responsibility for their own driving. They're looking out for other drivers on the road. They're not drinking and driving. They're not texting and driving. They're not texting and walking. They're not drinking and walking, because we know that pedestrians are a very vulnerable sector of the road using community. So we'd like to see people obeying the rules of the road, being courteous to one another, and making sure they arrive at their destinations in one piece and get back home safely as well.
We'll leave it there for now. Layton Beard, thank you so much for your time. As always, spokesperson for the Automobile Association of South Africa.